I wanted to talk about Atlanta. I have early memories of going into Nashville at like a 19-year-old, playing in all these exhibition games, and going into like Atlanta of all places. And
Cheetahs.
Cheetahs. That girl, Peaches, she used to squeeze full beer cans between her tits and like smash it. It was crazy.
Cheetahs was the best strip club. I love going to Atlanta for Cheetahs. I love
beer can full. She could squeeze it between her tits and shatter it. Anyway, no, I wanted to talk to you about Heatley and Kovalchuk and what these guys were to this league back in like the early 2000s, and just how dynamic these two were. Like, you played with them, right?
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah, I played with them for a long time, both of them. And
it was insanity to watch the way these guys would control the game. And it being in Atlanta, it was such a weird ice rink, dark. It had suites on all one side. But for my first taste of watching like two elite younger players take over hockey games, could you describe what those two were like, and if there's any comparable into like modern day hockey with the way those two played?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of things right away, like going in, I knew they were special because I'd played against them. I'd heard a ton. And then my first practice there, and at this point in time, like I'm in the league, maybe what is it, like 5 years or something like that when I get traded there. And the first practice, you're always a little nervous. You go into a new team or whatever. And you wonder how you're going to fit in. Are you going to bust the drills because you don't know them and stuff like that? And I remember I went in the corner after I took my shot on net, the very first drill, and I curled in the corner, and Dany Heatley comes in and crashed into me. He's like, "Oh, what's up, big Sutsy?" So he, even as a second year player, like he just had a knack for that. He was such a natural leader. And I tell people all the time, like before the accident, when he skated through neutral zone, he looked like Mike Modano. His jersey did what Mose.
Oh yeah.
And he's the only other player that I've seen like that. And he's 6'4", and he would just like super long legs, and he would just gallop through neutral zone. You couldn't even touch him. No. So smooth, little tiny chunk of tape. You're like, you got to be good. You got fucking 2 inches. You got 2 inches of tape on that. I've got like all the way up, halfway up the shaft, and like half a thing of wax.
Ooh, this guy's got good hands.
Yeah. And then Covey. I mean, Covey was just so nasty. I mean, you guys remember he'd come down and he was the first guy. He'd like, as he stick handled, he would pump back and forth, and he had a curve like this. Yeah. And he'd use it no matter what, and the teams wouldn't say anything because he was just so filthy with it. But he'd get called on like a couple of illegal sticks, at different times. I think both times he grabbed like a Bob Corkum, like just dead ass straight, probably wood blade. He goes to the box, he'd come out of the box and get a breakaway and go score with Corkum's stick. I mean, I still remember him doing that. I mean, he was spectacular. He definitely had some things to learn, I think, about like being a good teammate and what it means like to really be tied into your team and not be selfish. So he had some of that to learn. I don't know if he ever figured it out, but I hope he did. And then Dany was just such a game-changing talent, like the kind of player that some players are really good, but they don't make everybody better. And then you think about the players that make everybody better, and that was Dany. He had such a knack for the game, and like Joe Thornton-esque,